Clerk, please call the roll.
Lamb.
Here.
Rose.
Here.
Shields.
Here.
Simpson.
Here.
Coyne.
Here.
Hilberg.
Here.
Colasar.
Here.
Reading of the minutes.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I move that the minutes of the March 11, 2013 regular meeting as prepared and submitted by the clerk be approved.
Second.
Any discussion? Will clerk please call the roll?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coyne.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee met prior to council, and we have another meeting in 2 weeks. Health, Safety, and Sanitation Committee, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Tuesday, March 19th, we had a meeting of the Safety and Health Committee meeting. At that time, we had representatives from the Second Baptist Church, St. Matthew's Church, and St. Francis Church in to let us know what types of things they were doing as far as preparing their congregation should there be a shooting or other catastrophe in the church. It was very comforting to know that in every case, the ushers and other key members of the congregation are present and trained on dealing with situations in an emergency manner. Also, Chief Baraducci, who will be expounding on this later, brought in examples of the new urgent care bags that all police officers are going to be carrying with them from now until whenever. So there are no further meetings scheduled. Thank you.
Thank you, Public Properties Committee, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public Properties met on March 13th. We had one topic. It was regarding the city pool and the inability to open it this summer, but we did ask the administration and the Parks and Recreation Director to start looking into options. We have a meeting set up in April with a consultant, and we'll probably be bringing some issues back to Public Properties in the future. The other committee meeting I want to mention is Archives Committee will be meeting this Wednesday, 3/27 at 4 p.m. in the basement of City Hall.
Thank you. Special Legislation Committee, Mr. Lamb.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting held and no meeting scheduled.
Thank you. Streets and Sidewalks Committee, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Streets and Sidewalks plan to have a meeting in April. Date will be announced.
Thank you. Water and Utilities Committee, Mr. Colzar.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have nothing scheduled and nothing to report at this time.
Thank you. Reports, requests for council action. We have the Finance Committee. We have several items. We have 1361 budget amendments, 1362 adopting housing revolving loan fund agreement, 1363 expenditure over $15,000 for transit funding, 1364 Fair Road change the right-of-way and paving, 1365 2013 concrete street repair, 1366 2013 concrete pavement joint sealing, 1367 agreement with Arcadius South Court tank interior coating, 1368 agreement with Cunningham & Associates Wildwood Beechwood improvements, 1369 renewal public defender contract, and 1370, which has been moved to the Streets and Sidewalks Committee, is a policy for city improvement with private stormwater retention systems. Reports of municipal officers. Mayor Hanwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a reminder to the residents that the Everbridge alert system is on the city website. Residents can sign up for just the alerts they're interested in. If they're interested in just Amber alerts or emergency alerts such as weather, road closures. It's a countywide program. We're able to reduce the cost by having the county and the cities all go in on one system that's uniform throughout. The day of serving is being put on by local pastors and churches on May 4th, which is the first Saturday of May. Local churches are gathering volunteers. If council members or the public has interest in recommending a volunteer, the applications can be obtained by Dawn Conwell at the mayor's office. Her phone number is 722-9020 or dconwell@medinaoh.org. She can send them an application or a request form. And just a note, the supplies for the projects need to be provided by the residents. All the labor will be provided by the churches. And they're trying to take them regionally wherever the church is located. They'll try to handle any requests in that area so they have less travel time. There are two methods to pay your bill automatically without coming to the finance department or mailing it in. One is called ACH, which stands for Automated Clearinghouse. With this, customers can sign up for automatic payment from their bank account to avoid late fees and the charges to mail it. Applications are available at the finance window. And the second is customers may also pay by credit card now with our online bill pay. And we have a sign up on the city website, www.medinaoh.org. And if you just click on that, fill in your information, you can pay by credit card then on. And last Thursday, May 2nd, which is the first Thursday of May, are this year's National Day of Prayer events. That will include a breakfast at Williams on the Lake. That's the only event that there's a charge for. It's $15. There's tickets available at the mayor's office as well as most of the local churches. This year's speaker is Reverend Cornell Carter from Second Baptist Church, and the breakfast goes from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Then there's a noon prayer service at Public Square. In case of inclement weather, arrangements are being made with the United Church of Christ to move the service over to there. And last but not least, the evening service will be at the new United Methodist Church on Foot Road, and it starts at 7 and will be done by about 8:30 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Durham, Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. A couple of things. First of all, income tax. All city residents are required to file a city income tax return. Those are handled through CCA, and we have a couple more. We've already had two. We have two more opportunities if people would like help with those forms. On Wednesday, April 3rd from 1 to 8, and the last one will be Saturday, April 13th from 9 to 4. Both of those will be at the Rec Center located at 855 Weymouth Road. So if you want help with your forms, you can come in and get help at those times. Budgets, we are working on budgets and 5-year plans for 2014 through 2018. Have been submitted to me for the enterprise funds, and they'll be back to council later this week. And finally, the Utility Rate Review Commission is meeting this Wednesday, March 27th, in the City Hall multipurpose room, which is downstairs here at City Hall at 5:30.
Thank you, Mr. Huber, Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you, Ms. Rice, Economic Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple items to note. Last Monday, Mayor Dennis Hanwell and I recently briefed and provided a tour of the Medina Municipal Airport to Congressman Jim Renacci. The congressman was pleased to visit the airport and learn more about the amenities and improvements to the facilities, as well as learn about its economic development potential, history of aviation in Medina, and any future ODOT FAA issues. A press release went out last week as well, and it is posted on our website. A couple little notes on businesses. Andrea Lyons, known as the Chief Marketing Maven and owner of the Lions Share Marketing Group, recently opened an office at 257 South Court Street in Suite 11. The city, along with Main Street Medina and the Medina Chamber of Commerce, celebrated a ribbon cutting event to welcome her to the city on March 19th. We are also planning another ribbon cutting and grand opening for the newly opened Pennzoil Lube Express located at 1004 North Court Street. And it is scheduled for Thursday, April 4th at 2 p.m. And they will be offering $10 off any oil change and $15 off any other services. And that is my report.
Thank you. Mr. Vogel, Building Official.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Patton, City Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier today, our Board of Control awarded contracts for 3 projects, the Ray Mallard Park Splash Pad, the Ray Mallard Park Fitness Trail, and the Champion Creek Trail parking lot. Currently out to bid is the West Smith Road reconstruction. That opens April 3rd, and East Smith Road Storm Sewer. That opens April 12th, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Swanson, Parks and Recreation Center Director. Recreation Director, not Center Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Oh, thank you. Mr. Piccoli, Service Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had more snow this morning. Crews did a great job in removing the heavy, wet snow from the streets. Looking forward to spring And on the subject of spring, one quick announcement. The Central Processing Facility is hosting their annual Spring Appliance Roundup. It allows the residents in the county to drop off their appliances for free. The dates are Monday, April 8th through the 13th, and the location is the Central Processing Facility located at 8700 Lake Road in Seville. And the times are 6:30 a.m. until 4 o'clock p.m. Thank you.
Mr. President.
Thank you. Yes, Mayor?
Chief Baraducci had to run back to the police department. If it's okay, I'll go ahead and mention these bags, trauma bags.
Oh, sure.
Yes, sir. As the committee may recall, these trauma bags were presented to us by Medina Hospital. We just received them today and did not want to spend too much time in-house with them. So we have one for every police car. We have one in each township police car. And what they include is several tourniquets, emergency trauma gauze, trauma dressings, devices to clot if there's a massive bleed. It's combat capable clotting for trauma injuries, gauze, and also for sucking chest wound, which from a gunshot, as you can imagine, is one of the most fatal injuries that can be received. And what it does is it actually shuts off the hole so that the lungs then don't collapse, and the person can then breathe normally until they can go and get the treatment necessary. And as you may recall, when this was discussed down in the committee, the officers carry this on their persons in cargo pants and pockets. What these bags permit us to do is go into a mass shooting area, and each officer with a bag such as this can treat a number of severely injured persons until the point in time that we can then remove them from the building and get them the help they need with LST or fire EMTs outside. So we'd just like to take this opportunity to thank the hospital for their generous donation of all of the supplies for both the City Police Department, Medina Township Police Department, and Montville Township.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Notice of communication and petitions. There are none. Unfinished business. None. Introduction of visitors. Members of the public will be permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue or concern which pertains to the city during the portion of council agenda devoted to introduction of visitors. All comments shall be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time limit of approximately 5 minutes will be imposed. If there is a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the front right microphone and state their name and address so it can be entered into the minutes. Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meeting as determined by the chair or by a vote of the majority of council members present. Is there anybody that wishes to address council? I see we have some up front here, yes. If you could go to the microphone, state your name, your group.
Hello, my name is Alex Manansky. We are here to show our idea for a student activity program. The city of Medina is a great community for young people to grow up in. There's just one thing missing, something for teens and kids to do. So, we would like to, so with the help of Mayor Hanwell, Councilman Lamb, and Councilman Hilberg, we are starting a student activity program that will finally answer the question, what am I going to do this weekend? We hope to have a positive influence on the community by bringing money to the schools and promoting local businesses, by bringing young people and their families to the centerpiece of our community. The events we hope to hold are concerts directed towards teens and activity days directed towards young children. The activities benefit safe environments for teens and kids along with the potential buyers for businesses on the square. If there's any questions or ideas or would like to help, contact me on my Twitter at Alex Manansky. Thank you for your time, and I will now hand it over to Jimmy Marco.
Thank you.
Hello, I am Jimmy Marco, and I just want to say thank you to Alex for explaining what we really do. But it's something a lot more than just answering the question as to what are we going to do this weekend. What we want to do is we want to make Medina more of like a home. Like right now, we have a great house. We have all these wonderful things. We have a beautiful square. We have all these things, but no one really to share them with. And until we can really share these with all the members of our community, we'll never really be fully a home. And to accomplish these goals, we came up with these ideas behind like maybe a talent show that would encompass everyone in the community. I mean, Spice is always a big hit every year, but if there was something for everyone to be a part of, that'd be great. Or if there was like an activity day for children between like elementary school children or middle school children, and they could just go out for a couple hours and walk around the community and see everything. And then, I mean, on top of all that, we have the economic values of it. We can promote the small businesses that sit around our square. I mean, if we have all these children gathered here for a concert and all these children have money or happen to have money on them or whatnot, I mean, there's Lemonberry, there's Cool Beans, there's all these small businesses just sitting around for all these places to just strive off of what we also want to do by making this community a home. And I thank you all very much for taking the time to listen to us. And I believe that concludes all we have to say.
Thank you. Thank you for all your effort. And I thank the Councilmember Herberg and Lamb for help organizing this, and the mayor. Hopefully we can develop a great program. Is there anybody else that wishes to address council? Introduction and consideration of ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 44-13, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with WRIS Web Services to design and implement the City of Medina's new website.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Mayor Hamwell?
Thank you, Mr. President. As council may recall, we asked for a request for proposal and obtained a number of vendors wanting to redo the city website. Some of the inefficiencies currently are it's not very friendly for mobile devices like iPhones and iPads and tablets. This will take care of that. We were also looking to have a much more friendly website for adding material, removing material, adding photos, adding videos, and this will definitely accomplish that. We had a screening panel made up of Jared Fry from our cable office, Miles Reed from our cable office, and Don Conwell from my office. And I'd just like to compliment the committee on the work they did and the product that we were recommending. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Ordinance 44-13 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 45-13, an ordinance authorizing the job creation grant agreement for Sandridge Food Corporation.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Ms. Rice?
Thank you, Mr. President. This job creation grant agreement is for Sandridge Food Corporation's most recent expansion at 133 Commerce Drive. They are constructing a 30,000 square foot dry warehouse building, adding additional employee parking and welfare areas, office space, chilled water capacity, and several new pieces of equipment. They have also made a commitment of creating 100 new full-time jobs over the next 3 years, and this expansion is their largest expansion to date with an investment of $13 million. The payroll just from this project alone is a $3.6 million increase. And just to give a little additional background on the funding for the program comes from non-tax generated revenues, including but not limited to permit fees, service charges, interest income, activity fees, and tax incentive application and monitoring fees. So while we base it on the income tax that they're generating, the funding does not come from the income tax pool. The grant that they could receive over the next 7 years is a total of $106,000, which means in order to get that, they have to hit their target at 100%. We do allow a 25% maximum over those payroll projections, and if they hit that target, the grant that they could receive is $132,000 total for the 7-year period. However, if they don't meet that goal, then we also reduce the grant by a certain percentage based on their jobs that they create and the payroll. If they fail to meet 75% of the new payroll or new employment projections in any given year, the grant shall not be awarded for that year. Additionally, the city does have clawback provisions where we can terminate the contract if they do not, if they fall like delinquent in their taxes, or if they decide that they want to vacate the facility, move the project out of the city, or terminate the operations at the facility during that 7-year period. We can also terminate the grant agreement and go back and ask for all the money given to them over that period of time. The other thing I wanted to note is since 2008, their company has continued to grow. They have invested a total of $31.2 million, which would include this expansion in buildings, machinery, and equipment. Additionally, since 2008, they have added 175 new jobs to the city. The investment that the company is making in Medina is extremely significant, and they have continually increased the income tax base here. By adding the new employment to the city, it also impacts growth to other businesses as there are more employees in the city to dine and shop, thus building the economy. And we are very appreciative of their commitment and their ongoing investment that they have made to the city of Medina. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comment or discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 45-13 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 46-13, an ordinance amending section 3105 of the Salaries and Benefits Code of the City of Medina, Ohio, relative to the Police Department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Mayor?
Yes, sir. This is a recommendation of the administration. Lieutenant Bob Starch, who's been faithfully served the City of Medina Police Department in every rank that we've had, with the exception of Chief, for 29 and a half years, has tendered his resignation effective May 1st. Our request is to remove one of the police lieutenant's position, to cut the staffing down from 2 to 1 lieutenant. And then, as council knows, we've added a couple sergeants that are assisting with the administrative functions of the department, and feel that we can adequately supervise and run the department with that command structure.
Thank you. Any further comments? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 46-13 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 47-13, an ordinance amending Chapter 133101 and removing Chapter 133102 of the codified ordinances of the City of Medina, Ohio, relative to the adoption of the new residential code of Ohio for 1, 2, and 3 family dwellings.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Vogel.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Ohio Board of Building Standards specifies which codes we are to enforce. This ordinance adopts the current residential building code as specified by the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Ordinance 47-13 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 48-13, an ordinance amending Chapter 1333 of the codified ordinances of the City of Medina, Ohio, relative to the adoption of NFPA 70 National Electric Code 2011 edition, effective April 23rd, 2013.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Vogel?
Yes, this ordinance also updates our adoption of the code to the 2011 version. Thank you.
Any further comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Ordinance 48-13 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 49-13, an ordinance amending Chapter 1335 of the Codified Ordinance of the City of Medina, Ohio, relative to the adoption of the 2011 edition of the Ohio Building Code and related codes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Vogel.
Lastly, the commercial code needs to be updated also, and this ordinance updates that to the current version. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Ordinance 49-13 passes 7-0.
Resolution 50-13, a resolution authorizing the filing of an application for grant assistance from the Ohio Department of Development for the fiscal year 2013 Community Housing Improvement Program CHIP grant.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it at this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Any further discussion on the emergency clause and resolution? Ms. Rice?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm filling in for Ms. Sandy. On the emergency clause, the grant application is due April 5th with the Development Services Agency. So,
Thank you. And this is our annual CHIP grant. Is there any further discussion on the emergency clause? Clerk, please call the roll on emergency clause.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Any further discussion on the resolution? Clerk, please call the roll.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Resolution 50-13 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 51-13, an ordinance authorizing an appraisal, fair market value estimates for the West Smith Reconstruction Project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it at this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Mr. Patton?
Thank you. This is for our West Smith Road project. We need a total of 17 easements from 9 different property owners. 16 of those are temporary easements, meaning they will go away once the project is completed. One is a permanent storm sewer easement. We're asking for the emergency clause because the project is scheduled to be constructed this summer. We'd like to start the acquisition process as soon as we can.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will clerk please call the roll on emergency clause?
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Any further discussion on the ordinance? Clerk, please call the roll on the ordinance.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 51-13 passes 7-0.
Resolution 52-13, a resolution authorizing the mayor to file an application for grant assistance with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the Safe Routes to School Grant Program.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Mr. Patton?
Thank you. This is a program sponsored by the Ohio Department of Transportation. It provides 100% funding. I believe it's 80% federal, and ODOT picks up 20% cost. To get access to infrastructure improvement monies, you first have to have a school travel plan developed. So we submitted our application to develop school travel plans for 4 schools in the city, those being Northrop, Fenn, Garfield, and Canavan. We're asking for the emergency clause because this grant was due March 1st. They did allow us to submit it with the understanding we would submit this legislation to them within 30 days.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the resolution or the emergency clause? Clerk, please call the roll on the emergency clause.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Any further discussion on the resolution? Clerk, please call the roll.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Resolution 52-13 passes 7-0.
Resolution 53-13, a resolution supporting the establishment of a school zone for the crosswalk on State Route 3 at the intersection of East Union Street and Rolling Meadows.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
this resolution also requires the emergency clause. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Mr. Patton.
Thank you. This came to us after a long period of study involving the mayor and the law director. We'd like to establish this intersection as a school crosswalk in order to be able to install and monitor a flashing school zone sign at that intersection or just in advance of that intersection. And this will serve to service the students both going to the high school as well as going to the Fenn Elementary.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll on the emergency clause.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call the roll on the resolution.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Resolution 53-13 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 54-13, an ordinance amending ordinance number 63-11, passed May 9th, 2011, relative to the construction of the addition to the city service garage.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Pacoli?
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance reflects the transfer of funds necessary with the respective accounts from with regard to the city garage expansion that was constructed last year.
Thank you. Any further comments? Clerk, please call the roll on the ordinance.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 54-13 passes 7-0.
You're right. Okay.
Excuse me.
Ordinance 55-13, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of 3 2013 Ford Utility Police Interceptors from statewide Ford for the police department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Chief Verducci.
Mr. Coyne, we've asked to add the emergency clause so that this order can be placed before the expiration of the 2013 build year.
And these are just replacements of existing vehicles. We're changing our vehicles from the standardized sedans to the utility police vehicles, is my understanding from the Finance Committee. Is that correct?
You're going to have to speak into your microphone.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I'm hard of hearing as it is.
I think we're changing from our regular sedans to the utility-type vehicles throughout the fleet.
Yes, the Ford Crown Victoria is no longer being made. Last year, we purchased 2 of the SUVs as a test. We had an overwhelming response from the officers as far as liking it, the comfort of it, the safety of it, utility of it. So we've requested to go to 3 more.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Colzar?
at the not tonight's finance meeting, but our finance meeting 2 weeks ago, I did vote no against these utilities. And to be honest with you, I did a little more research and gathering the information from the sedan that you spoke of and the Taurus and the limited space for the officers. And hopefully it's something that the Ford Motor Company will correct in the future. But with additional research, I will be voting in support of these. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll on the emergency clause.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Any further discussion on the ordinance? Clerk, please call the roll.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 55-13 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 56-13, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of 8 new in-car mobile video systems and 20 body-worn video cameras from L3 Mobile Vision, Inc. for the police department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it at this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Chief Berarducci.
Thank you, Mr. President. With the reason we asked for the emergency clause on this is we need to place the order by March 29th to obtain an 11% total discount on the purchase price. We know we need to make this transition to the new technology, the new equipment, and our testing shows that it's been well worth the money and the effort. And I think it'll give us a transparency with the community, with the court, and with, frankly, with the legal community when we take away the argument about what was said, what was done, and who hit who. So I'd ask for your support on this one.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Just to let people know that I am in favor of the 8 new in-car mobile video systems. I think they're needed because our current systems are not in great shape. As far as the body-worn video cameras, I'm not in support of that yet. I'm not entirely convinced that we need body cameras yet. I understand the utility of them from the lawyer's perspective as far as defending the case, but I don't know if we're a city to that size where those are absolutely necessary. So I'll be voting no on that portion of it, which I have to vote no on the whole ordinance because they're all in one. But is there any further discussion on the emergency clause? Will the clerk please call the roll on the emergency clause?
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
No.
I'm sorry.
Will the clerk?
Hilberg.
Oh.
No.
Yes.
Motion passes.
6-1.
I don't have to say.
Any further discussion on the ordinance? Clerk, please call the roll.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
No.
Ordinance 56-13 passes 6 yeas, 1 nay.
Ordinance 57-13, or ordinance amending ordinance number 213-12, passed December 10th, 2012. Amendments to the 2013 budget.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. These are both in the fire department. The first one is a pass-through of revenue received for a job that was done, wasn't anticipated revenue at the beginning of the year, and the second one is for donations received. Those both have to be appropriated in order to be spent. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Ordinance 57-13 passes 7-0.
We have one addition to the agenda, ordinance 58-13.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
at this time I move to add ordinance 58-13 to the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion adding ordinance 58-13? Clerk, please call the roll.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Ordinance 58-13, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into agreements with the Medina County Commissioners and the Medina County Public Defender Commission for so as to provide legal counsel to indigent persons charged with a violation of city ordinances.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it at this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Mr. Huber.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Public Defender's Office in Columbus requires that cities have a contract with them for the provision of indigent legal help. We have a contract in place with them from last year. This ordinance renews the contract that has been in place for another 1-year term. The public defenders were late in getting this to us. They requested we have this back to them by April 1st. That is the reason for the emergency clause.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the emergency clause or the ordinance? Clerk, please call the roll on the emergency clause.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call the roll on the ordinance.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 58-13 passes 7-0.
Council comments.
Mr. President?
Mr. Colsar?
I have a couple here. First off, there will be a Ward 3 meeting this coming week from today, Monday, April 1st at 7 p.m. at Heritage Elementary. That is at 833 Guilford Boulevard. So I urge all residents in Ward 3, if you don't know what ward you're in, there's information, I believe, on the city website, but Ward 3 is generally the southeast section of town. And these meetings are for you, to give you the opportunity to come out and speak to council. All members of council are there, and we have the mayor and some of the department heads as well. So I ask residents, don't pass this opportunity up. If you have ideas, concerns, items we need to address, please come out and let us know. And again, that is Monday, April 1st at 7 p.m., Heritage Elementary School at 833 Guilford Boulevard. Secondly, each year I hold a little Earth Day event to recognize the importance of Earth Day and this world we live in. And I'm going to have a small event. Generally, it's at Roscoe Ewing Park on Guilford as well. But this year, we're going to have it over on Sycamore Park. Sycamore, if some don't know, is located between Montview Drive and Valley Drive. It's, I think, approximately 10, 15 acres. But that'll be on April 27th, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Again, that is Sycamore Park. If you have any questions, my contact information is at the city website, or my home number is 330-725-6993. And lastly, not only as an elected official, but a resident for 30 years, I just want to ask people to don't forget how important the school levy is to our community. I know there's a lot of heated passion going on right now amongst our community and some of the outer boundaries that the district represents. Don't lose sight of the importance of the education of our students and the future of this community. So please consider that and support the levy in May. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further council comments?
Mr. President?
Mr. Lamb?
I have a couple also. First, I want to mention that the Community Design Committee had an open house last week, and it was attended by over 60 people. And as I mentioned at the time of the open house, it was probably more people than had been in that house in the last 100 and some years. And it gave the Community Design Committee the opportunity to explain to the community their agenda for 2013, introduce new board members, share our large archive of restoration photos. And also the folks that came had an opportunity to see the movie that was filmed here by RKO Studios in 1945 that showed Medina as it was as a community, had a couple actors in it, but showed the real people that lived here in Medina at the time. And there are some folks that were in that movie who are a little bit older now, but still live here in Medina. So it is quite a movie. And I want to thank the mayor for attending and many members of his administration, the finance director, members of council that came, as well as county commissioners and all the other folks that showed up. I really appreciate that. And also to follow up on Mark's comment, and I've talked about this here before, and I'll talk about it again before the levy comes up, but I met Alex when Alex, who spoke tonight, came here with high school teacher Shannon Conley to show the app that they made and that they're working on for the history of Medina. That is just an exceptional project for students to do, and it demonstrates the kind of education that goes on in the Medina City schools. And when Alex came back and we talked about this idea of a teen committee and teen activities, and Mayor Hanwell was agreeable to it, and Councilman Hilberg. It demonstrates what initiative comes from students that are in school here. And it is important to remember that it took generations to build the Medina City school system. It took generations of folks to support the Medina City school system. And while there is some anger, some dismay over current issues, we have to keep in mind what the school levy is really about. And it is about students like those that came here tonight that showed this kind of initiative. And we need to separate anger and dismay or whatever other things we're feeling at the moment and understand that people that serve on school boards or serve on Medina City Council, people that serve in these positions are doing the best that they can. And folks that serve on these boards and commissions also make mistakes. And we may not like the mistakes they made, but I believe that everybody deserves an opportunity to make improvements and do better. And that's what I think will happen here. And it is fundamentally important that the school board, school administration, teachers, and the community all work together in a transparent and positive way to ensure that the school levy passes, so that we can continue to provide this kind of education that we have decade after decade after decade with the Medina City schools. And I've never voted against a school levy, and I want to make clear I'm not going to vote against this school levy simply because of the current issues that are taking place, because it is more important to support the schools than to show our lack of support because of a separate issue.
Thank you. Any further council comments? Meeting adjourned.